everyone. I thought it would be worth taking a video to talk about the ways we can best use the online environment to make the class as interesting and meaningful as possible to everyone. Starting with looking at the strengths of the first online class for week 2. As a whole, I was impressed by the effort and the quality of the work that students showed in the first online class. I think it's a really great start. Some things that I saw done well that I want to emphasize. Many of you posted excellent questions, inviting responses from fellow students. If you are ever unsure of what you want to write for your responses that week, this is a good place to start as to give you a list of options. You can look and see what questions your classmates have posed and if those spark any ideas for you to give a substantive response. Another thing that a handful of students did particularly well was to explore theoretical concepts raised in the readings. This is really the meat. Pardon, I'm very vegan and vegetarian friendly, but so it's like also the heart of the concepts raised in the readings, including some students talked about intense and relaxed prescriptions and proscriptions, old-fashioned sexism versus modern sexism, the stereotype threat, and benevolent and hostile sexism. These concepts are going to give a lens to explore current events and personal experiences and work with our clients that adds depth and allows this class to help you take it to the next level. We'll continue to explore and reference new ideas throughout the semester, but also to use things that you are learning, to revisit them and repeat them throughout the semester, like to practice the ideas. Other students did well by tying the readings together. This was especially notable considering that the first week the readings weren't as thematically connected as they will be throughout the rest of the course. So for the rest of the course, I want everyone to challenge themselves to respond to the readings as a whole, to respond to themes as much as you can, but then use multiple sources to support the argument you're making. When I took the class, I thought this was a challenge that it never got easy, but it did present an opportunity to learn and challenge myself. So I hope that you will do that too. So some other things that students did, but I will just spell out so we're clear on the expectations. An engaged student will be logging on at least 3 times per week. So you're logging on to do your initial post, you're logging on to do your responses, and you're logging on to read any responses that were done to your post. There's a good possibility you're logging on more than this. If you're on UB Learns and you see that there's something new for the class, why not? I know if you're enjoying the class and you're on a lot, it might make sense. If your schedule is such that it's best for you to sit down and see a whole chunk at once, 3 times is totally sufficient. But don't be shy if you want to be on more. Once you have posted your 2 substantive responses, which ought to be at least a paragraph long, say a minimum of 3 or 4 sentences, which again, everyone did an excellent job. Once you have done that, please feel free to post additional responses with less length or less depth if you're so inclined. Again, this is not a requirement, but if as part of your own learning experience you want to do this, don't be shy. Remember, this class is weighted heavily on participation, right? And for the online environment, that means participating. If you, for a seated class, there are weeks where it may mean just showing up and where you're not necessarily doing a whole lot of talking. But for an online class, if you haven't contributed, you haven't showed up. So if you don't post any responses on a given week, you are losing 1 full point that day. This may not seem like much at the beginning of a course, but by the end of the semester, it could be the difference between an A- and a B+. And it could just be a little peace of mind. Build yourself that cushion now. Furthermore, like the whole point of the grade is to motivate you to make the most of the learning experience. So it's just an extra incentive to help sure that you achieve the competencies that you should expect to have by the time you complete the class and by the time you graduate from this program. I'm hopeful that we can make the most of the online learning environment. A best case scenario, you're preparing in a different way than you are when you speak in class. You're using different critical thinking skills and citing sources and scholarship in a way that you may bring a little bit more attention to when you're sitting there and writing a post. Of course, the online environment can go the other way. It can fall flat. It sometimes can feel like busy work. I want to prevent that as much as I can, and I think, again, week 2 was stellar. We just need to keep that up, and I think that it's going to be a really excellent space for learning online. As part of our efforts to keep the online environment engaging, please post some kind of picture or representation of yourself. To do so, you click on your name in the most upper hand right corner of the screen when you're on UB Learns. When you do that, then click on the square that has the space for a picture right to the left of the name, and then you can either post a picture of yourself or another image that feels representative of you. It could be, say, a Black Lives Matter image, something along those lines. Something that represents you as a social worker and a social justice, social change agent. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I have posted a new thread on the discussion board to explore ideas and challenges for online learning. If you have any thoughts or questions or concerns, do not hesitate to jump on and speak your mind. Have a good one, and I will see you all soon.